feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG, and we're back with more Marvel Superheroes Magic the Gathering spoilers. So, starting our list off, we've got more spoilers from the initial reveal and Extinction event. This is what they call a source material card. These are cards that have art from comic books, and it's called Extinction event. And, these are all reprints of cards, kind of like, a special guest for this particular set. A black and 3 for a sorcery that says choose honor exile each of the chosen quality. Yeah, Extinction event's gonna slap hard with some people. Then we have World War Hulk. 2 green and 3 for an enchantment saga with chapter 1 reading. Red and green creature spells you cast this turn can be cast. It says the next red or green creature spell you cast this turn can be cast without paying its mana cost. Yikes! Well, I just happen to have this Galta in my hand. Oh, yeah. Or, this big beefy dragon. Yeah. And chapter 2 reads, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Well, that's gonna hurt. Chapter 4, choose target creature you control until end of turn, double its power and toughness, and it gains trample. Ouch! Just Hulkify somebody. Okay, so next up we have Attuma, Atlantean Warlord. 2 blue and 2 for a 3/4 Merfolk Warrior villain with other Merfolk you control get +1/+1. So he pairs with Namor. Whenever one or more Merfolk you control attack a player, draw a card. So yes. And again, right here we have, of course you can't see it, but I can. We got Namor the Submariner. That's the base version of it. But next up we have Dr. Doom. We have Doom reigns supreme. A black and 1 for enchantment plan. This is the plans. The plans work like this. Whenever a villain you control enters, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life, and you put a plan counter on the enchantment. When the 5th plan counter is on this enchantment, you sacrifice it. When you do, target opponent exiles top 5 cards of their library. You can cast up to 2 spells among them, the exile card, without paying their mana costs. Yeah, this goes with your Dr. Doom. You're gaining life, and your opponents are losing life, and you get to get stuff off their library and use it for your purposes. Also, plans are basically, and the enchantment plan is you do something, and then you put a certain amount of counters on that, and when that that counter limit is reached, you sacrifice it, and it does something bigger. So that's the basic explanation of what an enchantment plan is. We have Thunderbolt's Conspiracy. A black and 3 for an enchantment with flash. Whenever a villain you control dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a finality counter. That creature is a hero in addition to its other types. So villains to heroes, it's just interesting. Next up, we have Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Now, a lot of people are complaining the fact that they used Moon Girl because evidently in the original comics it was Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur, but I don't care. It works for me. I haven't read any of those comics, so I don't understand the storyline or anything. So it's a green, a blue, and a 1 for a 2/2 legendary human dinosaur hero. When you draw your second card each turn, until end of turn, Moon Girl and Devil's Dinosaur's base power and toughness become 6/6 and they gain trample. Whenever an artifact you control enters, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So it has an internal way of making this bigger. We have Ephemerate, another source material card. Monica Rambeau as Photon. So a white mana for an instant reads exile target creature you control and return to the battlefield under its own control, and you can rebound it. So you pay your mana again, and you can bounce it back to your hand. We have Dig Through Time. The beefy 2 blue and 6 for instant reads has Delve, which means you can use cards from your graveyard to help pay the casting cost of this. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them in your hand, and the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. So, hoo-ha. We have Harbinger of the Seas, and it's 2 blue and 1 for a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. Non-basic lands are islands. So that can do some stuff, especially if you have creatures with island walk or stuff like that. Like this, Lord of Atlantis, 2 blue mana. Creature Merfolk for a 2/2 Merfolk that you get +1/+1, other Merfolk get +1/+1 and have island walk. So yeah. You want all that together. You want your Merfolk. Yeah, you got your Merfolk. Next up, we have Widowmaking Infiltrator, which is a reskin of Dauthi Voidwalker for 2 mana. You get a 3/2 Dauthi Rogue with Shadow, which can only be blocked by black creatures and artifact creatures, if I remember correctly. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter on it. Tap and sacrifice this creature to choose an exile card your opponent controls with a void counter on it. Play it this turn without paying its mana cost. So hoo-ah. Next up, we have Elektra, Deadly Assassin, which is a reskin of Massacre Girl. 2 black and 3 for a 4/4 legendary human assassin with menace. When she enters, each other creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Elektra gets -1/-1 till end of turn. Again, there's a strategy that's coming up that would fit well into. We have Chaos Warp with the Scarlet Witch No More Mutants artwork. So a red and 2 for an instant that reads, owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. So, hoo-ha. We have Force of Vigor. Got Hulk throwing a tank here. So, 2 green and 2 for instant that reads, if it's not your turn, you may exile a green card from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Destroy up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. So this is one of those free spells. Force of Will, Force of Negation type of thing. We've got Heroic Intervention. Green and 1 for an instant read permanent you control. Gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. You have Horn of Greed. I'll go through the card and then I'll explain a little bit something about the comic panel that this comes from. So 3 mana for an artifact that reads, whenever a player plays a land, that player draws a card. Now, the Horn of Greed was an incredibly powerful artifact that basically is like, it can give you whatever you want, but there's a cost to doing that. And the cost is whatever, whatever it would take to get the thing normally. So that's why Namor is yelling, "Do not use it!" And Doom in typical Doom fashion, "Fool! Dr. Doom does as he pleases." And it toots. Now, tooting a horn was, you have that description. And the reason why it's funnier when Namor is saying don't use it and it toots, in olden, people of the boomer and silent gen age, when you say toot, you're actually talking about somebody farting. Because sometimes when you played a trumpeter wrong, if you tooted your horn wrong, it sounds like somebody farted. And that is why this comic panel is so funny. It's a bit of a deep cut that a lot of people don't realize unless you're older or, have lived around, boomers and silent gen, or those with your parents like mine. So next up, we have another commander deck face card into T'Challa, the Black Panther. Now later on, we will see some of some of the other cards in the Commander decks. But those will be in future videos. So, a green, a white, and 1 for a 2/2 legendary human noble hero. Whenever T'Challa enters or attacks, you create a vibranium token. It's an artifact with indestructible, and you can tap it to add a colorless mana, but it can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell, so it has to be an artifact. Whenever you cast an artifact spell with mana value 4 or greater, put 2 +1/+1 counters on T'Challa. So he cares about big splashy artifacts. Hoo-ha. Next up, you have Dr. Doom, King of Latveria. So, Grixis, which is blue, black, red, and 1 for a 3/3 human noble villain. Whenever you discard 1 or more land cards, each opponent loses 2 life. At the beginning of combat in your turn, target villain you control gains menace until end of turn. It connives. So you discard the card. If you discard a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So, Doom. But just Dr. Doom. And here is the 4th of the Commander decks in the Captain America deck. So Captain America Team Leader. So red, white, and blue, which is a little different than it's normally portrayed as you know how you would say the mana symbols, reading them from left to right. Because America. So, he's a legendary human soldier hero. That's 3/3. Whenever another hero you control enters, he gains vigilance and haste. And put a +1/+1 counter on that hero, and a +1/+1 counter on Captain America. So, more heroes, bigger cap is. Yeah, and they get bigger too. So, hoo-ha! Okay, next up we have Agent Maria Hill. Now, this is the second in command to Director Nick Fury in the organization S.H.I.E.L.D. She's 1 white mana for a 2/1 human spy hero. When she becomes tapped to pay a teamwork cost, put a +1/+1 counter on her and draw a card. Now, teamwork is an ability that is on certain characters and other cards that is, you know, an additional cost that you can use to pay. But to pay it, you tap, you know, however, whatever the teamwork cost is, you tap that many creatures to pay that cost. So we will see more of that in later videos. We have Ronin, Shadow Stalker. For a black and 2, you get a 3/3 human rogue hero. You pay 2 life to add 2 mana of any 1 color. Spend this mana only to cast equipment spells or activate equip abilities. Activate only once each turn. Again, this is going to go in a specific archetype deck. And you tap them and sacrifice an equipment attached to it, and the target creature gets -4/-4 till end of turn. Again, yes, there's a certain archetype that he's gonna fit in. So last up for this set, we're gonna have Iron Man, Master of Machines. So blue, red, and 2 for a 1/4 legendary artifact creature human hero. This is the uncommon version of him. He has flying and vigilance, and he gets +1/+0 for each other artifact you control. So whenever Iron Man attacks, if an artifact enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Okay, so that is, that's. And the reason he's an artifact creature is because they deemed, and they revealed it at the main spoiler reveal, which was yesterday, which was the 2nd of June, that any character or creature that derives its powers mostly from technology will be considered an artifact creature. Just so we're clear on that. But again, this is going to be an artifact-heavy deck. Fits Iron Man's theme. Hoo-ha. We're at 21 minutes, and we're going to see you on the next video.